If you're watching this right now, don't waste your time. Ask the questions that you have about buying a house. The questions about down payments, income, credit, assets. How do you do it? What programs are there available? Ask the questions right here in the chat, and we are going to answer every single one of them right here live. It doesn't matter if you're buying your first house, your 10th house, your first investment property. You have multiple investment properties. Maybe you want to build a house. So whatever your questions, comments, concerns may be, make sure you ask them right here in the chat. And don't forget, because Tony Bowles will remind you that you have to tap that screen and give us some love in the meanwhile.
Is Tony Bowles already in the house?
Already in the house, man. First
shit, man.
in.
I love that shit.
First in. T-Money Bowles.
What's up?
So when you go through the process of buying a house, guys, there's not a whole lot that's involved, but you have a whole lot of questions, and we want to make sure we answer every single one of them. What do you got for us today, Finance Man?
Well, Fed spoke yesterday. Ooh, scary. Ooh, they did go down.
Yeah.
So, here's what it is, guys. Here's what it is. Should I wait? Should I wait till we get a lot of people?
We're going to say it throughout the whole thing.
Okay,
so just lay it on the
here's
first
what
group.
the Fed came in and said, hey, we're not going to do anything. We're not. That's what it is. Yep, that's what it is. But we will say things are looking the way we want them to see it. The data is coming in favorable. That's their favorite words. The data is coming in favorable. Okay, what does that mean? That means that they got the economy somewhat under control. And then they said something that has been super powerful, and it's already affected rates, like a lot. Not a little bit, a lot. They said, Fed, Jerome Powell came out and he said, hey, we could actually do more damage to the economy if we wait too long to drop interest rates. So, what does that mean? Right now, if you went to Vegas, they would say, Fed Funds Watch, they would say, hey, 100% chance they're dropping the rate in September. 100%.
What's up, Christian Monavi?
What's up, Christian Monavi? So, 100% chance they're dropping the rate in September. That's what they said. No, they didn't say that. Sorry. He said, Fed Powell, we could do more damage to the economy if we wait too long to drop interest rates. So the odds on them dropping interest rates in September is 100%. But why would they go down today? Because they have. They went down. They're right now, if you went to the New American Funding website, you would see a VA at 5.5. We haven't seen that in 2 years, 3 years?
Long time.
5.5. You would see an FHA 30-year at 5.5. You would see a 15-year, get this one, 5.375. We haven't seen that in 2 to 3 years. And then you'd see a 30-year at 6.25. If you don't believe me, you can go up to the link at the top of our bio, go to Cool Stuff, Today's Rates. You'll see what I'm seeing. Now, the reason this is happening is because the banks don't want to wait till September, and then all of a sudden there's this massive drop and they have to do this big correction. So what happens is once the market has an indication that it's going to go a certain way, they bake it in right away. They start baking it in. So the Fed funds rate is still 5.25 and 5.5. Remember that the mortgage rate is not based off the Fed funds rate. It's based off of the 10-year yield. But there's about 100 to 250 basis point spread from the 10-year yield to the actual rate. Okay, what does that mean? What that means is there's a lot of slop inside. So when market's uncertain, even though the rate hasn't changed from 5.25 to 5.5 in 8 months or longer, we've gone from 6.5% all the way up to 8% at par. Why? Because of that slop, the uncertainty in the market. They call it a yield spread. But once we have certainty that the market's going to go down, that yield spread drops from 250 all the way down to roughly 100 basis points. And you're looking at, holy smokes, it's starting to move. What do you got?
I heard music. Where's that music from? Maybe it's in my brain.
Could be in your brain.
All right, let's get to some of these questions, guys. Got a lot of good news when it comes to buying houses. Todd, can you pay off your loan quicker if you pay bi-weekly payments?
Yes, you can, Todd, but it's a big game in your own brain, Todd. Here's why. If you do it correctly, How many months are there in a year, Todd? I'm glad you said that. There's 12. You're correct. Okay, now, what if you paid 24 payments? Would that work? Yes, Todd, it would work. But is it quicker? Not really. What is that, 20? What if you paid every 2 weeks? Well, wait a minute. If there's 26 weeks, 26 payments over 52 weeks, well, you're making an extra payment. That's what that boils down to. So if you make that extra payment exclusively towards principal, then yes. But it's a game inside of your brain. It's just a way for you to go, hey, instead of me making an extra payment every year, which I'll make 1/26th of a payment this payday. And then another 26th of a payment next payday. And a 26th of a payment next payday. Todd, if you did it by design, consciously by design, you would take a certain amount and aim it at principal. The people that sell you this stuff, they're telling you, hey, listen, if you pay it off like this, it's going to do much better. They're not lying, but the reason they're doing better is because you're taking a whole payment and you're applying it exclusively towards principal, which is really the hack. That's really the hack. So can you do it? Yes.
Will it work? Yeah, sure. Tony Ballas, thank you for the love. And listen to Tony Ballas, guys. Tap that screen. Give us some shares, please, if you like what you hear right here. Bill Gross. Bill Gross. Here we go.
Oh, Bill Gross. We like Bill Gross.
Yeah,
He's
we
fun.
do. How do you feel about the fact that we have 15.1 million vacancies in the U.S. but still have homelessness?
Bill, sounds like there's a problem in the system. You figured it out, man. I'll tell you what, I just stand back in awe of your genius. As a matter of fact, all of the minds of all time step back and go, you know what? We need to listen to Bill Gross.
I got a question for Bill, though.
Go.
How many homeless people are living with you?
That's a good point.
How many? Put the number there, Bill. Let us all know.
Yeah.
Limo Joe, thank you for the love. Tony
Appreciate
Ballas,
you.
thank you for the love. Mike, thank you. Valerie, thank you for the love. Abraham Games, I've been approved for $400,000.
Abraham, if that happened yesterday, I would highly recommend you ask today, because I'm willing to bet that 400 goes to 410 or 420 today.
420.
Because the interest rates have dropped. They've dropped because we believe there's certainty in the market. That's why.
All right. User 619. How do you think the elections will impact the housing market? Should we wait before buying?
So, they could impact. I don't think they're going to impact the housing market directly, because the housing market is very difficult to move in one fell swoop. It's like moving an aircraft carrier. It doesn't move easy. There's a lot of things that have to happen for this thing to change direction. However, whoever gets into the office will affect the overall attitude of the economy. And if you get the right side of it in, I believe you're going to have a spike in economy. If you get the left side in, I think we're going to have more status quo, but I do believe the economy will correct itself. Doesn't matter who goes into the office. I really believe it's going to correct itself. And bear in mind that the reason our system puts the chairman of the Federal Reserve at appointment in the middle of the presidency is so that the president can't just step in and change everything that fast. It doesn't work. There's this gigantic, really cool, unbelievably awesome system that kind of checks for everybody, which means no one president can come in and move the pendulum entirely. It takes a lot to make things happen.
Yeah, thank you, Tony Ballas. Let them know. Give us those hearts. Give us those shares. Kimmy, thank you for the love. User 6516. Loan factory or local mortgage shop?
So if you go to, loan factories are good if you have a perfect file. What's a loan factory? They're not really around right now, but they are cashcall.com. Hey, so if you're a loan officer, you have a few different paths that you can take in order to make your living. One of the ways to make your living is you go work for something called Cash Call. And they'll say, hey, listen, you're going to fund 60 loans a month. You're going to make $300 a file. But you're going to fund 60 loans a month. And if you're a loan officer that actually works files, you're like, I don't know how I could fund 60 loans a month. That's a lot of work. Well, all they do is they get you to sign the paperwork, and then the system takes care of everything, which is not always good for the client, but it could be good for the loan officer. Not always good for the client, because if the client has a hiccup, like a late payment, divorce, adopted kid, anything at all, not perfect FICO, then the client doesn't really have anybody to talk to because they can't call the loan officer. They talk to the processor, the loan officer assistant. So in this situation, if you have a perfect file, Rocket is probably a good company. Rocket is probably a good one. That's a loan factory. But if you've got any issues at all, like gap in employment or unexplained big deposits, or you're married and divorced, or you have kids, or there's 1,000 ors, you're better off with a loan officer.
Yeah, not just that. You know when you do a lot of your shopping and putting in offers? The weekend, guys. You know who needs to talk to the loan officer on a Sunday? You, your agent. So you need to get these answered. You need someone you can get a hold of.
Like this happened this Sunday. We were both on the phone with an agent, texting on the phone with an agent that we got into contract on Sunday night. We received the RPA on Monday morning, but if we would have not answered that call on Sunday, we would not be in that contract. This one's in Texas.
And that's
right?
our
Texas.
That's our borrower. That's you.
Yeah.
That's putting you in a house.
Yeah.
Charles, how you doing? Where the hell are my 2.5 interest rates?
Charles, I don't think they're coming back unless we see something like dire in America. I don't think we'll see 2.5 again. I think we'll see maybe 4s, maybe high 3s if you buy down. But I don't think we'll ever see 2.5 again.
Yeah, Bill Gross says, I have to have someone without shelter living with me to point out that the market does a bad job at allocating human needs. Bill, here's the problem with that.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the problem with that, is that you didn't answer my question.
Yeah.
You didn't answer my question. You tried to redirect and make a statement that everybody already knows. Everyone knows that homelessness is a challenge that we need to solve.
Bill.
But the question is, what are you doing?
How about this? You and I, we start a pack. We're against evil people. Yes. We're against evil people. And you know what? We only want to be on the side of the people. Mm-hmm. Yes. Only on the side of the people. And we want to help the people do what the people need to be done.
And what you're saying is correct. It's not wrong at all.
Yeah, you're
it's
not
wrong at all.
yeah.
But what you have to do is take the words of the late, great Michael Jackson and make that change.
Make that change. Well,
Look
here's
at
the thing.
Man in the mirror.
This is an ugly part of society that people don't like to talk about. But you know what? If you are in the wild, guess who eats the deer?
The bear.
The bear eats the deer. And he does not like... Do you think the deer wants to be eaten? But that's the big circle of life. And unfortunately, there are higher level animals that take advantage of the lower level animals. And this is the ugly part of humanity. It is the same thing.
Yeah.
Should it be? Probably not. I don't know. I didn't create the world. I know that if I go to the forest and I go hunting, the bear will eat the deer.
B9er 60. Is there a difference between a realtor and a land realtor?
Yeah. The word land, that's about it. Yeah, the word land, because a realtor, first off, they become real estate agents. They have to pass a test to become a real estate agent. And then there's this genius marketing company called the National Association of Realtors who said, hey, you're not really anybody unless you join us. So then they're like, I don't want to pay your fees of $300 a month, or I don't know, whatever it is. It's something ridiculous. They're like, hey, I don't want to do that. And then they can't get anywhere because they can't use the realtor logo. They can't use the stuff. So they're like, okay, I guess I'll pay you. So now I'm a realtor. Ooh, realtor. Yeah. Well, the real estate agent test gave them the license number. And when they joined the Realtor Association, they became a realtor. So underneath that, they can sell real estate. And real estate is unimproved land or improved land. Unimproved land is raw land. Improved land is raw land with a house on it. That's called an improvement. So that's how the technicality works.
Everyone hang in there. Every single one of you that has a question, comment, concern, statement, hang in there. We're going to get to every single one of you, okay? Becca Stern, what's the rates today? My score is a 780.
780.
Score,
You're
Becca.
knocking out of the park. Okay, Becca. Big news. Big news.
Answer this one fast because they're going to ask this all day long.
Okay, so Fed spoke yesterday. He held the rates solid, but he said some very important things. He said, hey, we have good economic data coming in, and we believe we may do damage to the economy if we wait longer rather than shorter to reduce the interest rates. Translation, the market believes the next interest rate is going to happen in September. I think it's September 18th. I think that's what it is. So we believe that. And the market immediately baked it in. I mean, immediately. We watched the 25 basis point drop happen Boom, across the board, everybody. Anybody who locked 3 days ago, anybody who's floating and held, like yesterday, if you were on this podcast, you would have seen me talking, hey, we're at 5.75.
Thank you for the roses.
On a VA, we're at 5.75. On an FHA, we're at 5.75.
Jay?
On a 15-year conventional. Today, I'm going to tell you that if you went to the New American Funding website, you would see 5.5% interest rate. 5.5 on a VA. 5.5 on a FHA.
Got some showers going on over here.
I got 5.5 on an FHA and a 5.375 on a 15-year conventional. What? Yeah, that's
Remember how I
happening.
started? Let's make this one fast.
Yeah. That was
We got a lot of questions, man. I want to help everyone.
I was going fast.
Charles said T-Money 2024.
I believe you, Charles. I really hope so, man. The media's just going the other way right now.
Garrett, I love comedy, but say something funny. Say something funny.
Garrett.
Rudy,
Oh, Garrett.
Rudy, hence, why you got to vote for T-Money?
That's why. Yup.
Can't say his
Rudy
name,
also.
guys. Can't say his name, so
I
I
know,
use
they can
T-Money.
hear
Jay, thank you for the love. Tony Bowles, thank you for the love.
Appreciate you, Tony Bows. I like to.
Blue the Husky
Makes me
back in the
happy.
house. What is your opinions on Loan Depot?
Loan Depot is absolutely a loan company that does loans.
Boom.
And I have a lot of friends that went there and they have absolutely left there.
Boom.
But that's different than whether it's good for the client or not.
Boom.
I know that from a loan officer's perspective, they wrote, Loan Depot wrote a lot of checks to a lot of loan officers, and then the loan officers, even though they got back big fat checks, they left.
Jessica Wilson on VA loan, put 20% down or keep the cash with the market correction likely.
Jessica, if it was me, I'd go zero down. I'd go zero down today. The reason is because once the interest rates start coming down, they're going to keep coming down. And when they keep coming down, if you keep that 20% in your pocket and you wait till they hit the relative low, then you can refinance, use that money, put the 20% down, then buy down the rate, and you're in a golden scenario.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah. Tony. Wait. Yeah, Tony, any recommendations on HELOC lenders? You know what that means? Time for a commercial.
If you need a badass loan, call a badass loan officer. You can reach your badass loan officers, Chris and Lee, at New American Funding by dialing the number on the screen. But don't dial it right now because Chris's phone is on Instagram and Lee's on TikTok and we cannot answer. But we will handle your HELOC. No worries.
Boom, boom. All right. It's MAR 2.0. Should I refinance now? I have an FHA at 6.7.
It's MAR. No, I wouldn't. I mean, I'd have to look at your scenario. But if it's just for the point of getting a lower interest rate, a lower mortgage payment, you have to look at the macro. And the macro is, hey, are you going to be there for a while? Because here's the Fed funds projection into 26 and even 27. Right now, the Fed funds rate is 5.25 and 5.5. He held it again yesterday. However, by the end of 26 and into 27, they anticipate the Fed funds rate to be at 2.5%. 2.5. Now, you're not a loan officer, so I'm going to give you some simple math. The simple math is from 5.5 to 2.5, what's the difference? That's 300 basis points, how we call it. So 300 basis points. All right, cool. So if we were quoting sevens and we lost 300 basis points, what are we quoting in 25, 26? That would be fours. So if you're going to refinance, would you want to do it when you're in the sixes or fives, or would you want to wait till you get to the fours? Now, if you're talking to your loan officer makes 10 to 15 grand every time you refinance. What? Yeah, they make good money. So every time you refinance, he makes 10 to 15 grand. So if you talk to your loan officer is going to say, hey, I think it's a good time to refinance. Why? Because he makes 10 to 15 grand. That's the reality. He makes 10 to 15 grand every time. So he's going to want you to refi right now. And he's going to want you to refi in 6 months. And then he's going to want you to refi again in 6 more months. And then 6 more months. There's actually laws against a loan officer doing this too often called a churning law. And the bank will step in and go, whoa, 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 whoa. I don't know that you're doing best for your client. You might actually just be doing best for yourself. So if you step back and look at the macro and you say, hey, I'm going to be here for a long time, it's MAR. If I'm going to be here for a long time, then I want to wait till the Fed funds rate is down at about 2.5%. That's what they're saying on the Fed website. And then I want to refinance once. I want to buy the rate all the way down into the dirt and then never touch it again.
Yeah, translation, he said, I could do your loan right now, but I don't want to because it's not good for you, but we'll talk to you in 2 to 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Nooses.
He's mad because I just cost him 15 grand.
No, I'm happy about that.
All right.
Nooses. Why do these guys give me off scammy vibes?
Nooses, you're new here, man. We got a big, gigantic following of people who love us. So, hey, great news. Nooses, great news. What's this on TikTok? TikTok's a gigantic platform. You just hit block, buy, never have to see us again.
America. Beautiful thing about
Yep.
America, you can leave. Bill Gross, he says because they're capitalists.
Yeah, Bill Gross isn't wrong. We're capitalists. We're trying to make some money. Yeah, we're trying to make some money.
Put
Yeah.
money in, take money out. Hart said, do you guys do personal property loans in California for manufactured homes?
No. Just no. No. Murrieta, MK Ultra.
Okay, Ultra.
Now, if you know what MK Ultra is, oh my God, we got to talk. Because that stuff is just scary what they did. They just scary what they did.
How much do you guys pay your loan processors? Says ZK Ock.
They usually hire the processors. I think they pay them by the hour and then a bonus. So I don't know exactly what the number is because I'm not a loan processor. I know that the market right now is not great for loan officer assistants, processors, underwriters. They're all getting cut because the economy is so damn tight. And this is the first good news we've had in at least a year, maybe 2 years. Because 2 years ago, the Fed said, hey, I know y'all are at 3%. We were going to be at 8% within 2 years. And we're like, no, you're not. They were. They did it. Yeah, they did it. And we were in the middle of it, and they did it. And now they flipped it around and said, hey, at some point in the future, we're going to go from 5.25% or 5.5% all the way down to 2.5%. They said that, and I believe them. And because I believe them, there's about to be one hell of a ride for the loan officers who made it, the processors who made it, the underwriters who made it, everybody who's made it. They're going to make a lot of money. And the realtors who made it, not the ones who are like, hey, I'm a realtor. I do great work. You should take a look at me because I drive a BMW and I get my nails done every day. Those people aren't going to make it.
It's a white BMW, by the way. B9er60, you're welcome. J Bills, thank you for the love. Okay, so Hart, you asked the question a bunch of times about personal property, manufactured home. No personal property.
No.
We finance real estate. So
Yep.
if you wanted to buy a manufactured home that was connected to the land with a permanent foundation and you're buying the land, we could do that.
Yep.
Jessica Wilson, you're welcome. Smarten Up 10. Buying a home for $680,000. Financing $460,000. Cash in $220,000 is my cash immediate equity. In immediate equity.
Well, it would depend on your deal. Because equity is the difference between what you owe and what the fair market value is. So if you put $220,000 in, but you were covering funding fee of $600. So let's just say you had a funding fee of $20,000. Down payment, well, actually that goes towards your equity, but closing costs, which doesn't go towards your equity, and any repairs. Let's just say you spent 40 grand in funding fee and closing costs. Your 220 would be minus 40 grand, so you'd be about $180. So it's math, it's per deal, but yeah.
Yeah. User 6039, thank you for the love. If any of you want to get a home loan, you can go to the link in the bio, select apply for a home loan now, or you can give us a call. Phone number is there also. Ness, should I wait to buy in 2025?
You shouldn't try and time the market, Ness. If it's the right time for you to own a home, let's get you owning a home right now. I can make an argument right now for this is the best time ever to buy. The reason for that is because prices have kind of hovered and stuck. They're still moving up, but just slowly. They're not moving up fast. As soon as rates come down in 25, they will start moving up at record speed. Like we will be breaking records at what we're selling houses at. Breaking records. So when's the right time to buy? Probably 20 years ago. Second best time, today.
Right. Smiley face person with a little flaggy wave thing next to it. Should I pay $25,000 to buy the rate down to 5.25 before I close or wait to refinance?
Well, your loan officer should be going through this with you in detail, because it's on the surface looks like a good simple answer, but it might not be. On the surface, I wouldn't put $25,000 to buy a rate down today. No way in hell. Not with the Fed saying that in the next 2 years we're going to be at 2.5%, because I know when we get roundabout there, I'm going to refinance and I'm going to want that $25,000 in order to buy it down then. That's what I say. But your loan officer should be telling you this. The other thing, which could make it complicated, is if you were only qualified to buy it at this rate and you needed to buy it down in order to qualify, then you don't have a choice.
Yep.
So your LO should be talking to you, giving you math. Because if you spend $25,000, how much are you going to be saving every month? Well, let's just say you're saving $500 a month. Okay. Well, $500 a month is $6,000 a year. It's going to take you 3.5 years before you even break even. If you refinance prior to 3.5 years, that was a stupid move. Ouch.
I can tell you right now that we have a few files that do have buy downs, some of them into the 5, and it is what he said, because they have to go that far down in order to qualify for a certain amount. Yeah. So if you have to, you have to. If you don't, you don't. User 6039, kind of the same question. Should I buy down the rate now to 6 or with my new loan, or wait to refinance?
If it were me and all things were equal, I'd wait, because the money that you pay for the difference in rate saves you a monthly amount, and it's math. Your LO, your loan officer, should be able to give you the math. If I put $10,000 in, how long before I get that $10,000 back in savings? There's an actual number. There's a timeline. And once you know that timeline, the decision becomes much more clear when you lay this timeline over it of what the Federal Reserve is putting out is going to happen over the next 2.5 to 3 years. If you factor this in, the decision becomes real clear.
Yeah, guys, load up that chat box with all your questions, comments, concerns. We're going to get to every single one of you. Z-Lock, do you think $50,000 and 100 bonus is a loan is fair? Oh, $50K and $100 bonus, a loan is fair. So $100 bonus on a $50,000.
Oh, he's talking about
processor.
Processor.
Yeah,
processor.
Yeah. 3 years loan processor.
Okay, give me a second. Let me think about this. Most processors that I know make about 100,000, maybe a little bit more, some into the $150 range.
But that's because of bonuses.
If you're really good. So, in order to make $100,000, you'd have to run 50 loans a month, because you'd get another 5,000 bonus. 50 loans a month. Maybe. We used to pay our processors what?
Well, what you're saying is standard. $50K a year with that bonus is standard.
Yeah.
But like what he's saying is if you're high horsepower,
yeah,
and you can actually push it out faster than most, then you'll probably stay at the same salary, but your bonuses can get outrageous.
We were paying $300 a loan during the last couple of years. Not right now, but we were paying $300 a loan to our processor, and we get to choose them because we had very high volume. And we would go, hey, I need somebody really good who just sits down and processes the shit out of this stuff. So we pay him $300. We had the volume though. We had a different scenario than
most.
Let
me give you an example of a Rockstar processor. So we in our old place, the Rockstar processor was pushing out like 20 files a week, while the normal one was doing like 4.
Yeah,
big difference. So it depends on your level. Smarten Up 10. We already answered your question. Do you guys have any connections for someone who does?
Let me give you a hint to the processor, though. I've been thinking this through.
Gosh.
So, processor, you need to know, if you're out in the retail world and you're not corporate, your LOs are your lifeblood. It is not the file. You need a relationship with the LO. And the LOs are going to screw up, and sometimes you're going to screw up. When that happens, honest communication. Somebody screwed up. Don't just point fingers. Hey, you calculated income incorrectly. You gave it to me incorrectly. Don't. If you do that, you will forever be looking for spot. But once you get a good relationship with somebody, and you say, hey, this is how I did it. Oh, I screwed up. Okay, cool. Either one, the loan officer or the processor, with the client in mind, trying to keep that client in the house to fund that deal. Because almost every single time that we messed up on a calculation or something, every single time, We've been able to solve it once we sit down with the processor and go, here's what we did. The processor goes, well, there's this guideline where I can do this and I can change this and I can do this. If you're good and you have a great relationship with your LO, all you need is a handful of LOs because they'll feed you, and you need the high producing LOs, not the guy who brings you your coffee. I promise you, my processors, we're not best friends. Me and my processors, we're not. I can't be. Why? Because I got to get those clients into a house, and I shoot at the processor, but I shoot at him with respect. I say, hey, listen, I know you have a reason for doing this. Here's what I see. Tell me your reason. Sometimes they'll go, Lee, I didn't see it that way. Thank you. And that's it. I'm cool. Thank you very much. And I move on. But we have a very high level relationship, and if you get a good situation, your LOs are your lifeblood.
Yeah. I was going to add to that. Yeah, be solution driven. Don't be combative.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't expect perfect files. Be solution driven. Do you guys have any connections for someone who does those types of loans? It's kind of hard to find one. Yes, I do. Reach out to us. Do me a favor. The personal property manufacturer. Text me. Oh, that's me right there. Text me. Screenshot it. I'll give you a couple more seconds. Text me your name, number, and tell me that you're personal property manufactured, and I'll get you a connection. No. Clips. How do you guys are? Hey, you guys are the ones hitting copywriters, right? Hitting copywriters?
Hitting copywriters?
Or saying that copywriters are always making all these promises but don't come through. Hiring.
Yeah.
Hiring copywriters.
Hiring. No, we don't hire copywriters. No, I actually don't even understand what the idea. Somebody sold a whole bunch of kids this idea that copywriters are very valuable, and I can't get my head around it. I actually tried. I talked with a couple of kids that were trying to be copywriters. I'm like, so you write, right? And they're like, yeah, I make sure you say the right stuff. I'm like, how? I fly off the seat of my pants with knowledge. I know what I'm talking. Everything is extemporaneous talk. Everything. So how are you going to copyright for me? I don't read a script. And when somebody asks me a question, I give them the honest answer because I'm not. It's like, this is how I see a copywriter. Hey, listen. Think of the Roman Colosseum and the gladiator with the sword, and they release the lion. And the copywriter's in the back going, hey, you should swing from the right, and then maybe if the lion roars, back up, pick up your shield, and then maybe swing from the left again. And I'm like, get out of my face. I got to beat this lion. I don't care what you said. I'm in the arena right now. Bye. So, didn't mean to hit you that hard.
But copywriters, all they're doing is they write emails.
Yeah.
You guys are writing emails.
Yeah.
Give us a way that you can build something.
Yeah, give us
and then we're
value.
interested.
I will pay somebody who can give me value.
Email writing? No.
Not their idea of value. Give me value, and I will pay you.
We can go to Fiverr and hire someone on Fiverr to write emails.
Yeah.
Ashley Heiklin, how you doing? But we got to pass this one. Travel Wi-Fi? You don't believe yourself at all. I don't know what you're talking to.
I don't either.
Ashley, do you new builders negotiate on their prices at all?
Ashley, if you have a realtor, maybe. But they have to know how to play the game because the builders know how to play the game.
But if you're expecting a builder to negotiate out the game,
yeah. They got a line of people to buy it. Yeah, why? Like, hey, I'm selling my house for $500,000 and I got 20 people lined up to buy it. You're like, well, I'll give you $480,000. Next. Yeah.
Travel said best time ever? Question mark. Oh, he's talking about. You said it's the best time ever to buy a house.
No, 20 years ago was the best time ever.
No, 1930.
Okay, 1930 was nobody was alive. But for those of you who were alive 20 years ago, the best time ever. I got some good deals 20 years ago. I still own those houses. They're amazing deals. They've done very, very well. However, if it's time for you to have a house, it's the best time. And the reason I say best time is because housing prices have kind of leveled off. They're still going up a little bit. But as soon as interest rates go down, what do you think is going to happen? They say that for every 100 basis points, 1 million new buyers step in. 1 million new buyers. Let me tell you what happened yesterday. We dropped 25 basis points. 250,000 new buyers just stepped into the market today. What do you think is going to happen to the price of houses? They're going to go up. And that's not even a big move. When we get one behind another, behind another, behind another, and then you have 1 million people coming in, 2 million people, 3 million people, and the inventory is still the same, supply and demand, prices go up, more difficult for you to buy.
Yeah. I can tell you right now, I woke up to phone calls and text messages just because of that move.
Yep.
Erica Kelly, I'm 51 and am I too old for a 25-year loan?
Good question, Erica. Erica, I'm going to tell you something that's very powerful, and I really, honest to God, hope some bank somewhere denies you, because you will never need a loan again as long as you live, because you will sue for age discrimination. There will be a line of attorneys waiting to take that case, and you will win that case, and you will be very, very rich. It is illegal for anybody to discriminate on the basis of age on a loan. If you're 90 years old and you're taking out a 30-year loan, we cannot look at that at all.
Yeah. Travel said 2009 for a house better than today. Where's your guys' page so I can leave a review?
I like you, man. This is good. Dude, are you a time traveler? I want to know. Who wins the election? I need to know that, man.
User 9252. I have a duplex. I need to do a cash out refi. Should I do it under my personal name or under LLC?
User 92, got bad news for you. Bad news. Everything is always going to be under your personal name. It's not going to be under your LLC. If it is, it's not going to be Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, FHA, USDA, or VA. Can't be, because those loan packages only finance people. They cannot finance a corporation. That's a corporate loan. Now, the next thing you're going to say is, well, I can change it to my corporation. Yeah, most loans have something called a due on sale clause, which means when you sell it from the person, Lee Duran, to Chris and Lee Inc., that has been sold and they want all their money today. Has to be in your name.
There you go. Hart, with a rate of 2.5, does that mean you'll qualify for a higher price home with the same income?
Yes, by far. Yes, a lot.
Arnaldo, if you have bad credit, how much down to buy your points?
If you have bad credit, a lot. Bad credit is the biggest factor when it comes to your interest rate. So, if you have a 620 FICO, you're not going to get a great credit, and it's going to cost you a lot. It's all relative, because if you're buying a $100,000 house, and I say, hey, it's going to cost you 3 points, well, it's going to cost you $3,000. If you're buying a $700,000 house, and I say it's going to cost you 3 points, it's going to cost you $21,000. So it's all relative.
Yeah, Helen, thank you for the love. User 6039 said, thanks, guys. You are very welcome. Z-Lock, I have a great relationship with my LO, but no raise over the last 2 years, so a little discouraging.
Yeah, Z-Lock, if your LO's still in the business, that's just be grateful for business. A lot of processors, they just fell out. I've got a lot of people that were in processing, bang up processors too, really good processors. They couldn't make it. And the reason is the LOs didn't make it, so they all left. And they all took, I got so many friends selling solar, starting solar companies, starting all kinds of different stuff. They all left the business.
Selling copy.
So
yeah, if you have a job, you're in a good spot, because a lot of people had to go to Amazon. No joke. Arnaldo Villarreal, can you guys do a zero down loan in Texas?
Yes, we can.
What part of Texas you in, Arnaldo?
Yeah, tell us what part.
Z-Lock, waiting on the boom.
Yeah, we're all waiting on the boom, but here's the catch, man. Here's the catch. They're like, hey, when interest rates go down, are things going to get better? I'm like, yeah, they did yesterday, and that's about what you're going to see. Because when they go down, it's already baked in. The banks don't like shock. They do not like shock. So they like to bake it in so that it slowly goes down. However, think of a roller coaster, and there's 10 cars on that roller coaster, and it's now hitting the peak, and we're pausing. That's what they call it. The Fed calls it the pause. So we're pausing, and then we change direction, and that's called a pivot. And once we change direction, and we've changed direction, we know what every car is going to do behind it. Now, that first car that changed direction, is there a lot of momentum, a lot of scary going on right there? Not a lot. It's a little bit, and it's not nothing, but it's not a lot. When the second one goes over, you start to feel a little more. When the third one goes over, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, and then all of a sudden, you start getting momentum. Well, that first interest rate cut, which is showing at 100% in Vegas. I'm not saying 100%. I think it is 100%, but I'm not saying 100%. It's in Vegas. 100% is going to happen in September. That's that first car going over, and we started the pivot. The reason that's important, the reason that's so important is because behind that comes the next car, and the next car, and the next car. And before you know it, we start getting momentum, and then all of a sudden, the real estate market's going to go crazy.
Yep, got a bunch of questions, guys, so hang in there. We're going to get to every one of you. Whoville Hater said, what's up, fellas?
What's up, Whoville Hater? We dig when you're here.
That's me, Donnie M. Is income based on your current pay or what my W-2 from the past year say?
Yes.
All the above.
We take your W-2s for the last 2 years, and we go, hey, you made $85,000 in 2022. You made $92,000 in 2023. That's all great. So those go in. And then I'd say, can I see your most recent paycheck stub? And then I use a special loan officer pay date calculator. And I go, oh, cool. You went from 85 to 92, and it looks like you're going to make 97. If your salary, I'm able to use the high 97. If your commission or any type of erratic pay, I have to use a 2-year average. There's different calculations for that. But when you say W-2 or current paycheck stub, yes, all of it.
Yep, and there is a way to use your current pay, like he said, with salary. And if you're hourly, make sure you're maintaining 40 hours a week. Don't do your 38. Don't do 32 because your kid had a thing you had to go to. Maintain 40, especially if you want to buy a house.
Amen.
User 9228. Y'all get the message on the duplex?
I know what you're talking about.
We asked about a duplex up there. Yeah, we answered it.
Oh.
Trey, how much should I finance for if I'm only looking to pay around $1,200 a month?
Well, where do you live? That's the first question.
Yeah.
Where do you live?
Yeah.
Because if you live in Los Angeles or Miami or
it's the
Dallas
Appalachians.
or Houston, you're not going nowhere. You're not going nowhere.
But if you're in the Appalachians,
Yeah.
you're gold.
If you're living in Mena, Arkansas, little parts of Texas, you might be able to pull it off, but you're touching 150 to maybe 180 the purchase price, somewhere in that range. Yeah, that's tough. Yeah.
Y'all do cash out refi?
Every day, and they don't make sense most of the time. The only time they do make sense is if you buried yourself in credit cards. If you buried yourself in credit cards and your credit card payments are $1,800 a month, and I can get that down to $700 a month increase because your interest rate's going to go up a lot.
Yeah. Hart said, I know I'm asking a lot of questions, but can you explain the percent rate change amount you qualify for? Hart, we encourage a lot of questions, so
Yeah.
thank you.
So can you explain the percent rate and how much you qualify for? So it's relative. What does that mean? Okay, so if we went down 25 basis points, okay, 25 basis points, and you were buying a $100,000 house, well then we probably can qualify you for about 102, maybe 103, but you're qualified for 100. So it went up. But if you're qualifying on a $500,000 house and we went down 25 basis points, you might be able to go for 520. So that's a $20,000 increase. So it's relative. That's why you go on basis points and percentages. But you have to have your LO who actually knows what the hell they're talking about. Because LOs, most LOs, especially the new ones who've been in like 10 years or less, they're trying. They're really trying, but they don't get it. It takes a long time before you get this business. So they'll be like, well, the computer says this, and my manager says this. If you got an LO who really knows, I question my managers and beat them often, because I really know the guidelines. I question my underwriters and beat them often. And I fight with my bank, especially if I tell my client, I think, hey, I got you the great rate. And they're like, hey, Lee, can I see the LE? That usually means they're going to shop me. Okay, cool. Lee, this other guy beats you by 0.25. How come? And I'm like, well, let's just fix that. And I already gave you the best I can. I go to my bank and I say, hey, you got 2 high-producing loan officers who haven't left you. I need you to find a way to beat that bank because I cannot lose for rate. So, Mr. and Mrs. owners of New American Funding, can you please dig deep and figure out how? And they do. They figure out how, and they beat it. But that's because I know what I'm talking about.
Shay Lopez, should I list my house now or wait until January or February?
Shay, when do you want to move? If you're trying to time the market, that's never usually the best move. Like, if your job is moving you, well, then you have to list. If you can wait, then wait. I mean, where are you going to move to? It is bigger picture than just the price.
Yeah, and so here's the thing. So if you're looking to go from here to here, it doesn't matter if you do it now or January and February. Okay, you're going to have the same challenges, except it's starting to picking up steam. And if you want to buy another house, it's going to be harder to buy another house as we get into lower interest rate environment.
Yeah, today's the best interest rates it's been in 4 years. About 4 years, 3 years, 4 years.
All right, Hart said, can you show that sheet again, showing the predicted changes on the rates?
Yeah, sure. So this comes from the Federal Reserve website. Currently, we are at 5.25 and 5.5 Fed funds rate. That's how they do things, Fed funds rate. Fed funds rate is technically the rate that the banks borrow at overnight. However, it does influence the 10-year yield because it has to compete. So the 10-year yield usually is in lockstep with the Fed funds rate. Currently, it's 5.25. The Fed anticipates it going down to 2.5 at the end of 26, beginning of 27. Again, it's complicated, and I can go into the technicalities, but the Fed funds rate and the 10-year yield are usually in lockstep. It's not mandated, but over the last 100 years, they've been in lockstep, which means the 10-year yield should be somewhere around the 300 basis point drop that the Fed funds rate has.
Yeah. Ashley Heikelin back in the house. I had to leave for a meeting. Do builders negotiate at all on price?
In this market, most places, no. Most places, no. Here's why. Because the builders are very good at marketing, and they're also very good at scamming people. And I can get into the scamming, but it gets real complicated. But what they do is they say, hey, here's my model, and they spend a lot of money on that model. And then they have a business model to get you in the door for you not to have a realtor, not representation, for you not to have your own loan officer, not have representation, where they own everything. And then they say, hey, my price is $500,000, and there's 10 people who want it. So now you walk in and you go, well, I'd like to buy this for $500,000, but instead of $500,000, I want to give you $480,000. And the builder's like, hey, we really appreciate you coming by, and we really hope you have a wonderful day. We do. Next. Yeah, you're winning. 500? Cool. Come on in. They don't, as a rule, they kind of don't. If you have a realtor, there's ways that you can get them to, but you have to have a good realtor.
Yeah. Hart, what if you do IHSS so you don't report all income on W-2s?
Hearts, you need a great loan officer. You need to call Chris like right now. Like right now. These are questions that should have been answered. That's absolutely. So IHSS can be used. IHSS is a job. It's a job. I need to show that you've been doing IHSS for 2 years, unless you're the recipient. If you are the worker of IHSS, it's a job. So I need a 2-year work history. If you're the recipient of IHSS, then I need something that says why you get it and how long you're going to get it for, and if it's tax-free. If it's tax-free, I can gross it up.
Yeah, IHSS is sometimes taxable, sometimes not. So you need to reach out to us. Houston. Trey said she's in Houston. That's the one that said $1,200 a month.
Well, outside of Houston, we just went into contract,
Yeah,
right?
if you go southern, the one we're in contract is 305.
305.
But if you go a little more south,
yeah, you can get things outside of Houston. You can get stuff like outside of Houston. Outside, I think I closed them for $235 about a month ago. $235,000, but $235,000 is still $2,400 a month payment, somewhere in there. And the other thing about Texas is very unique. Their property tax base is very expensive. In some areas, 2.9%, that's a lot. And the reason is because Texas has no income tax. So they have to make their money for the roads and everything off property taxes, and that's where they get it.
That's me, Donnie M. So if I'm salary, it would be based on current pay. What if I'm salary and husband is hourly? So yours is yours, his is his. So same thing I said earlier. If he's hourly, you need to make sure he maintains that 40 hours a week so he can get that top line pay. If he's not maintaining 40 hours a week, it will be averaged over the last 2 years, 8 months in that range. But salary, we use all day long. All day long.
All day, every day.
Sightseeing Sam, thank you for the love. Bridget, thank you for the love. Ashley Heiklin is crying. You made her cry, man.
I didn't mean to make
That's
her cry.
That's our girl, man.
Yeah.
That's our girl.
So
Jamie.
I used to be all nice and polished and salesman-y. Now I just hit people with facts.
Now he's just salesman-y.
I fact the shit out of people, man.
Jamie, thank you for the love. Socorro, if sitting at a 581 credit score but recently paid $5,000 to debts, can you qualify for FHA now?
Socorro, very tough. Very tough. Might get better over the next week, but the algorithms have to catch up with the market getting a little more favorable to lending. 581 FICO is a problem. The reason it's a problem, you earned that 581 FICO. You didn't pay somebody back the way you were supposed to. I'm not shocking you. I'm not breaking news to you. You already know this. So what we would do is we would say, hey, why don't we work on getting that 581 up? We have a special called What If Simulator where we can teach you how to get that 581 up as fast as possible. We'll teach you how.
Yeah. So we would pull your credit and figure out what you paid and let you know what your credit score is going to be. Like literally. Jennifer, thank you for the love. Ashley Heikland, just text my realtor to see what her experience is with the new builders.
Oh, Ashley, you got to have a good realtor, man. A good realtor can... So let me give you one of the games. You're going to love this game that the realtors play. They're like, hey, here's what I'd like you to do. I'd like you to use my loan officer, and if you use my loan officer, I'm gonna give you $10,000 towards anything you want. You want new granite countertops? I'll do that for you. All right. You want new window shades? 10,000, yours. Oh, you want some of that beautiful carpet? 10,000, yours. Now, if you have a good realtor, the realtor's gonna go, hey, listen, I just want you to put it in writing that you're gonna give 10,000. Put it in writing. Now, if you have your own realtor, they'll know how to do this. But if you use the builder's realtor, they're like, yeah, we can't do that. It has to be used towards the building. Well, if you have a good realtor, the realtor say, no, I want that 10,000. All right, cool. Now you get that 10,000. And they said, yeah, you're supposed to use our loan officer. It's illegal for them to mandate you to use their loan officer. And the realtor got it in contract that they're going to give you 10,000 and you're going to use that towards a principal reduction. What? Can you do that? If you have a good realtor, you can. If you don't have a good realtor, it'll get lost in the maze because you won't know where to go. The realtor, because there's two ways. The realtor either works for you or works for the builder. Now, if you went in without a realtor, they have you sign a piece of paper that says, hey, I would like to tour this home. We'd like you to sign this piece of paper, and you sign it. And at the bottom of that piece of paper, it says, I hereby represent I do not have a realtor, and I will use your realtor. Do they do that? Every time. Why? Because they know if you don't have a realtor, they can make more money off of you. Happens all the time, every weekend, every day.
What's up, Tina Neely? Trying to buy a home for $550,000, but only qualify for $515,000. What to do?
So all you need is a good, quick 35 G's. Call Chris.
3 things.
Yeah, call Chris.
3 things.
Call Chris
Tina.
right now.
3 things.
We'll get
Income, and debt, or cosigner.
You got
3
stuck.
things.
You got stuck.
Income, debt, cosigner. Easy, easy,
Yeah.
easy.
3 things. 50% offense, 50% defense, and 50% marketing.
If you get fooled once, you can't get fooled again.
That's it.
T. Bomboxo, thank you for the love. Miriam, 1211. How to remove my sister from loan besides refinancing?
Well, the best way is going to be refinancing. That's what it's going to be. However, you can do an assumption. Not going to be fast. It's really, really slow. What you would do is you'd go to your bank, your servicer, and you'd say, hey, listen, I would like to assume this loan. Like, what do you mean assume the loan? You're already on it. Yeah, I'd like to assume it by myself. And they're like, okay. And they'll roll their eyes a little bit. And they'll be, I guess so. Send me all of your income, all of your assets. I'm going to pull your credit. They're going to qualify you for a loan like you've just had your first loan. And then, oh, Navy Mom Donna's in the house. What's up, Navy Mom Donna? So they will qualify you for that loan. And if you qualify without your sister, then they will let you assume the loan, provided the investor and the servicer allow it.
My sister. Okay, Jenny. How did people buy houses before credit reports were a requirement?
Same way, underwriting.
He's the only one that was there. I wasn't there.
Underwriting, just underwriting. There's always been underwriting. So they've always had some version of credit report. What you're talking about is like the FICO model and the Vantage model, and then the whole industry kind of came in line, but they would go through, it was underwriting. They'd underwrite you.
How'd you guys brush your teeth before toothbrushes were invented?
Underwriting.
Underwriting. Nice. April, if I go conventional, is 3% the minimum down?
If you talk to most loan officers across the country, they're going to tell you, absolutely, yes, you can't do that. You can't do that. And they're not lying, because you can. And there's 2 programs out there called Home Ready and Home Possible. You can do 3%, but it's usually not a good idea. The only time it's a good idea is if you have like an 800 FICO. Why? Because here's the part they're not telling you. What they're not telling you is if you put 3% down, that's a very risky loan for the bank. And the bank has to shop mortgage insurance. And if you have less than an 800 FICO and they shop mortgage insurance, the last one I got was what, 2.67? I think we saw 2.67 with a 622 FICO. 2.67, well, what do I compare that against? Well, FHA is 0.55. So what the loan officers don't tell you, because they want to get their hooks in you, is they don't tell you that if you go with a 3% down conventional loan, which is Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, Home Ready, and Home Possible, those are the only 2 loans with that you're going to have to shop MI. And if you don't have a very good FICO score, 780 or better is better. I like 800, but 780 or better, then your MI is going to make up for any savings you would have had, and it's going to bite you really hard in ways that you don't even know, because your LO probably doesn't even know.
Yeah. And April, I'm going to go one deeper.
Dude.
I can get you a 0 down conventional.
What?
0 down.
Damn.
So, give
You
us
have
a
to
call.
flex? After all that, you have to flex?
JG, does this work? Or will I get bought out by another flipper?
Does this work?
I don't know what you're talking
I
about.
don't know what
JG.
you're talking about, JG. We'd like to help you, man.
Ask a full question.
Yeah.
Neil Love, does a mobile home asset affect the loan if a person will pay for HOA while it is sold?
So a mobile home is not going to be an asset, not in the world of finance.
I don't understand that question.
Well, I think she's saying that a mobile home that's in a park. So first off, a mobile home isn't real estate. A mobile home is personal property, and it's not really considered. Block it. Yeah, block it. It's not really considered a asset any more than your car is. You can't say, hey, well, I bought myself a TRX and I paid off, so can I count that as an asset? Not really. It's personal property. We don't use personal property as assets. So the mobile home, unless it's real estate, if it's real estate, then it changes the game.
Zabia, what about student loans?
Yeah, they exist.
We don't do them.
We factor them in.
We don't do student
Yeah,
loans.
we factor in the student loans, and there's formulas for all the different loan packages. The best formula out there is reporting, which means if this student loan reports you make $10 a month, pay $10 a month, then I use $10 a month. The next best is, hey, half a percentage point of the aggregate amount. The worst of them is 1 percentage point of the aggregate amount. So there's a formula for all of them on student loans. But yes.
If any of you are interested in getting yourself a home loan and purchasing a house, go to the link in the bio, select apply for a home loan now. And if you want to talk about it, our phone number is there too. Ashley Heikelin, thank you. She said we'll schedule a Zoom call and talk over scenarios. Cool. Marion 1211, how can I remove my sister? We already answered that one.
Yep.
Ashley again, I called Chris, LOL. Oh, I lost it.
Dude.
LOL, I don't have a cosigner. If I pay off my credit card, I can get a higher amount. That question was someone else, Ashley, but the answer is yes.
Well, here's what we would do. The first thing we would do is we pull your file and build your file. Because we might be able to squeeze more income out. There's certain things that we can do to squeeze more income. And that's the skill set of the loan officer. Because most loan officers will come in with, hey, this is what you got. But the really good ones will go, yeah, but I can get this much more. All right, cool. Then we'll squeeze interest rate. All right, we'll squeeze interest rate. So what does that mean? We push down the interest rate because of FICO score. But wait a minute. In order to get that lower rate, I need a 680 FICO. And you don't have a 680, you have a 678. You're 2 points away. Well, the first thing he's going to do is he's going to put you into a what-if simulator, and we're going to pull up all your credit cards, and we're going to go, hey, if you paid that Sears down $30 more this month, your FICO will jump up to a 682. If you get a 682, I'll get you a lower interest rate, and with that lower interest rate, I'll get you a higher purchase price. There's a lot of little tiny moves that we're able to do in order to get you more. Once we know you're serious, because it takes a lot of our time, not a little bit, like hours and hours and hours to make this stuff happen, but we can make it happen.
User 9957, 745 credit score, $65,000 per year. Do I qualify for a home in California without a cosigner?
Yeah.
Depends on where you're at in California.
Yeah. The
If
simple
you're in
answer
Los
is
Angeles, San Diego, San Francisco, no go.
yeah. The simple answer is yes, you can. You're probably somewhere around 300,000, somewhere in that neighborhood, 300,000 at today's rates, even with that little bit of a drop. So I've seen some $300,000 houses move in San Bernardino. Where was that condo that was $298?
San Bernardino.
You know, San Bernardino. And
Where are you at? What city are you in?
And what state is Barstow in, or county? San Bernardino. Yeah. So in San Bernardino County, we see some. If you go to like San Diego County, Orange County, Los Angeles County, probably not.
MM's mom. Can you buy a commercial property with an FHA?
No.
Chris Bell talks. Do you anticipate rates going below 6.5 before the end of the year?
Chris Bell talks. If you went to our links at the top right now, to the top of our links, and you went to Cool Stuff, there's a link that says Cool Stuff. Then today's rates, you would see that New American Funding is putting out a VA rate at 5.5%, 5.5. You would see an FHA at 5.5%, 5.5. You would see a 15-year fixed at 5.375. What? 5.375. And you would see a 30-year at 6.25%. Now, that is not my quote to you. That is what New American Funding is putting out to the world. In order for me to give my quote to you, I'd have to pull your credit, calculate your income, assess your assets, and build your file. And then I could give your quote. But if you say, do I anticipate rates going 6.5, I ask, what are you even talking about?
Okay, let's rapid fire. Let's do a real rapid fire because I want to get through a few of these, but we got to go. We're over on time.
All right.
Heidi Pamela, can you explain why I can't do a cash out refinance on a paid off home and use it to buy another?
You can, kind of. There's this weird situation where when you have a paid off house, it's a special way to start a new loan. But we can do it. It's a little more work, but we can do it.
George Ray, why should I start thinking about buying? What should I do to start thinking about buying? I make $40,000 a year, 730 credit score.
It depends on where you live. If you're making $40,000 a year, you're probably in the $180,000 purchase price. So you may not make enough money for most markets unless you're in Arkansas or some parts of Texas. I don't know.
Zabia, does student loan affect getting a house?
Yes, but not a lot. A little bit, but not a lot.
User 9957, thank you for the love. KCJR, will the bank approve a 3-family loan with limited income?
I don't know what limited income means, but 3-family loan all day, every day.
3-family house. Like 3 rooms?
Well,
or 3 doors?
If you get you can buy a SFR, which is 1. You can get a duplex, which is 2. A triplex, which is 3. Or quadplex, which is 4 or 4plex. And you can finance that with FHA, VA, USDA, Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac. All the way up to 4 units, all of them can go.
You said tree.
Tree.
Robert, explain how USDA rural home development loan works.
Real simple, Robert. You go to USDA.gov, you put in the address that you'd like to buy, and it's either going to be green with a thumbs up or red with a thumbs down. If it's a green with a thumbs up, we can finance that property USDA, then we qualify the borrower. If it's not, we don't even start.
Ashley said, I missed your call. I had to call Mr. Answer. Dang it. You remember her question?
Nope.
KCJR, just call us.
Okay.
You ready, man?
Another LO told me 5% down for confidential loan. I have 800 credit score with no debt. 5% down. April? April. Yeah, give us a call. Give us a call. We'll shop. We'll beat the LOs. I mean, we've got some LOs that are equivalent, but most of them we beat them.
Any of you guys want a home loan? Go to the link in the bio. Select apply for a home loan now. Our phone number there is there too if you want to talk about it. We've been Chris and Lee. We appreciate you. We are out.